Okay, so this is the next video, and what we're going to start to do is cut and shape the bamboo. So this is where the fun can begin. What I've got is some tools. I've got a measuring ruler, a file, and I really like a half file because you can use the edge and the flat section, a pencil, and some masking tape. So I've got the bits out from the box that I need, so I'm going to just set those aside. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the plan and I'm going to lay my plan out. So this is a large A1 plan. Lay that out, smooth it out as much with my hands because this is going to help with accuracy. So this is a 1-to-1 scale. So if you've forgotten all your design and technology lessons, then 1-to-1 means it's a 2-scale drawing. So you can measure exactly off this and you'll notice the parts will fit perfectly in place on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to mask this out, okay? Just neatly on here. And I'm going to put it exactly in the middle of my bench. So it's a good idea to mask this down so it just stays in place whilst you work. Okay. So we're just going to mask this out. So I've just gone to the 4 corners, but you can do it however you want. Okay, so I've laid that out. What's really useful about this is I've got all the measurements that are important that I now need to build the frame. So the first thing I can do is just cross-check and put some of my pieces on here so I can just know how the frame is going to look, like so. I've got these, I can pick which one I want to do. Okay, so the first stage I'm just going to test which fits which. So that goes in there. So I think I'm going to select this one because it seems a really good fit. You can obviously look at the aesthetics of them and look at how they look and also where the node is. So this is, I know that this is going to be 30mm here and 30mm here. So I can roughly work out where the joins are going to fall so I can position this accordingly. So let's start working on the front tube here, so the down tube. So what we're going to do is what's really important are these measurements here. So the 30mm, 30mm, and that's how much will be inserted into the head tube and the seat tube. So at the moment these parts don't fit together. So what we need to do is we need to machine the bamboo down so that it will slide in place and inside of this head tube. So the first thing we're going to do is take our measuring ruler and we're going to measure 3 centimeters or 30mm around the bamboo. So we'll do multiple measurements. And then using our tape, we're going to use the edge of the tape to follow around the line of the bamboo. And so that will give us a really good edge. see now I've masked this off. Once you've done that, just cross-check all your measurements and just make sure that you're accurate. It's worth checking all your measurements before you cut. I'm then going to take the rounded file, and using the edge of the file, I'm going to score around the edge of the tape and create a really neat line all the way around. So I've done a neat line. So try and do that as neat as possible, because you'll get a better contact and it's going to make the whole build a lot neater. So just try and get that as neat as you possibly can. And just take your time. Okay. I'm going to take my Stanley knife next, and I'm going to put the blade out. And all I'm going to do now is take the top layer off all around the bamboo. Now the top layer of bamboo is really high in silicon, so it doesn't stick very well. So by removing that layer, we're going to create a much better bond between the metal parts and the bamboo. So we're just going to remove that. So what I'd like to do is I put the blade in the knife, in the slot that I've created, and I'm just going to push away. Obviously, when you're using a knife, cut away from yourself. If you don't use knives a lot and you're not sure, you can get special gloves that you can't pierce your skin and so on. So just be careful. So you can see I'm just pushing away with the Stanley knife. I'm going to go all the way around evenly. And then what you need to do then is, once you've done one, you just check the fit and see how it's fitting. So this needs some more taken back. And it's starting to fit now. Okay, so it's really important to use this head tube as a gauge so you can see how tight the fit is. And when I pull this out, you can see all of these marks here, these black marks where it's rubbed on the metal. These are all my high points. So now I can take my knife and just bring those high points down. So it's a really, really good reference. So I'll check this again. The more you check, the better. And now if I look closely, I've got a little gap here. And it's just where, as I cut with the knife, I'm not able to get that edge. So this is where you can take your file now and just clean that edge off. So using the flatter part of the file, you can then just get a really neat fit. Again, just checking this. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that fit now. So that's fitting really, really nicely. So I can pull that out. You can see I've still got some high points, so I might just work on those a bit more. getting this really nice. And now that I've done that, I can now work on the other part, the back part. So I'm going to remove some of this rubbish, pop that in the bin. And then I'm going to use the same measurement showed here, the 30mm, to measure again. So the good thing about this process is a repeat process, so you can carry on doing that for each piece. So 30mm again. Tape the tape again. And again, just check all those measurements over. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, start the file. Again with the knife. And I'm just going to check that. Okay, so that's fitting really nicely. A little bit of high points. Check this again. So with the fit, just to note, you don't want the fit to be too tight and you don't want it to be too loose. If it's too tight, it's going to force all the glue out, and so you're not going to have a bond. And ideally, we want a good layer of glue between the bamboo and the lug itself. So it needs to be almost an easy fit. So you should be able to remove it in and out quite easily. If you're forcing it, that's not good. And if it's too loose and there's too much movement in the tube, then that's going to be a problem because you're not going to get as good a bond. So it's just being able to remove the tube easily back and forth. So just take your time to try and work through that fit and getting that just right. So I'm going to fit that into the front and just check both fits. And so that part is now complete. So we've done a dry fit and I've got some gaps here, so I'm just going to work that a bit more. We can do a dry fit of the front tube. So I'll just do a little bit more. Check that again. And so that is now complete. So that's the front tube all finished. And the next stage we're going to now work on are the rear stays.